Hey everybody, it's Laura with Scattered Woman. We are here today for our Faith and Family Live with Annette Vandendriessche. You will see on the screen that we are Annette Vandendriessche. I guess that's the more professional way of saying it, but I get to call her Annie because she happens to be my aunt. So she has had an awesome journey of taking a bunch of different life experiences and jobs and melding them all together to create an at-home business that she loves and is thriving in. So we just wanted to bring her on and let everybody see what she's doing and how it's going. So we'll be just going back and forth a little bit. If you have questions, anything that you want Annie to answer or would like us to answer later, just hop on and we will get those questions answered. Okay, so let's just dive in. Oh, and by the way, I apologize for not having any slides ready ahead of time. I will try to get them as we go. Like I was posting earlier, we've had all sorts of technical difficulties, but we have banished the demons. Jesus is present. So we are just going to keep rolling and see how this goes. So welcome, Annie. I'm so excited that you get to be here with us.
I am too. I think we've got a little bit of a delay going too. So
yes.
You're kind of cutting in and out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I will do my best to answer questions in case it starts to go in and out.
There you go. We will just keep moving forward, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, maybe we try again later.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for having me on here too, Laura.
You are very welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about we dive in and you just tell us a little bit about you and your family and what you're about so we can kind of know you a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm a mom of 3 beautiful children. My daughter, Nicole, is 25, and she is a pet trainer at PetSmart up in Blaine, Minnesota. She got a degree at the University of Minnesota, like psychology and animal science degree. And then my daughter, Chloe, she's 23, and she is a beauty consultant for Kohl's department store. And she lives in Monona. Well, the Kohl's department store is in Monona, Wisconsin. And then my son, Patrick, is 21. He is a junior at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and he is studying finance and accounting.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe the kids are that old already. I feel incredibly old.
How do you think I feel?
That's a good point, but we won't talk about that.
I don't know. We're not going to talk about that.
We don't talk about how old we are on these things.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy to me that your kids are that old. I mean, I remember visiting y'all when you were in Atlanta, and, Nicole was 4, 5. I mean, she was Mini-Me's age.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I guess the boys were babies. I mean, they were, well, Patrick was, and then Chloe was, but it's totally different now. It's so weird.
It is. It's very weird for me too. So
when we're thinking about this whole concept of a Mosaic life and taking all of our life experiences and kind of piecing them together to make a new picture, something that all of a sudden makes our life make sense. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of walk us through what your life and work history was like before you started your company?
Sure. At first, I want to say that as a young child, I used to watch my mother, your grandmother, mm-hmm. in awe at some of the things that she would create. And she created things for herself, for me, for my brothers, even for your dad. She made a pair of pants for him while he was in med school. Mm-hmm. It even had a zipper in it. It had the belt loops on it. And it was just so professionally done. And I was just in awe that she could do that. And so, you know, as a little girl, I always wanted to be just like her. You know, what little girl doesn't want to be just like their mom?
Absolutely.
And so I would take her scrap pieces of fabric when she would sew, and I would make baby doll clothes and Barbie doll clothes. And I would have my own little fashion show. And one of the things, too, that she would do when we would go shopping, like to the grocery store, is she would buy paper dolls for me. And I would sit for hours and cut the paper dolls out and then use the clothing, the paper clothing, and I would create all kinds of different outfits for the 2 different dolls that were with it. So I don't know if they still have paper dolls now or not, but if they do, it's such a great thing to have for little boys and little girls too, because it gives them a creative outlet.
Oh, yeah.
Them to cut. It teaches them to cut too. So, and it can be busy.
Cutting piece, but yeah, Mini-Me's got these little, they're like wooden dolls, and they've got magnet clothes.
Oh, sure. See, they took the cutting out of it, which that's not, you know, I don't know, but anyway, but it kept me busy for hours.
Oh, no doubt.
Because I was pretty hyper as a kid. so, but. You know, those are the memories that I have of being a little girl and trying to be like my mom. But she also taught me how to sew probably when I was 12 or 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when I was in high school, I was in a singing group, and I decided to make my own costume. And I also made another girlfriend's costume also.
Oh, how fun. And
I do remember being at your house when you were a baby, and your dad bought your mom her first sewing machine, and she actually bought the machine from my aunt Charlene, who sold sewing machines. She used to sell Bernina sewing machines, so he bought it from her, and I taught your mom how to make her first dress.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I have pictures somewhere of it. It was white with a peach background. I mean, it had peach in it, and it was really pretty. She did a very nice job on it. So, yeah.
Very cool. So, yeah, so this really, for you, has been a lifelong passion. With everything else you've done, this creating and fashion has always been that underlying piece.
Right. Yep. I worked in retail when I was in high school and in college. And then after I got through with college, I went to work for an insurance company as an administrative assistant and learned a lot about the business just by listening to what my boss was telling me to do for him, or what he had going on in different parts of the company. So I learned a lot about the business aspect too. And then I went to work for an audiovisual company and learned a lot about customer service, because I handled the audiovisual rentals for companies and hotels for their meetings, for conventions and meetings, like national meetings and things like that.
So much different than the audiovisual stuff that's going on now. I mean,
definitely.
In the last few years on how they handle all that. That would be crazy. But okay, backing up just a second. So when you were in college, how did you decide what to major in? What did you do when you were in college?
Sorry,
I didn't know this.
College, I learned how to be a person. I became a social being, and I was going to go to school to be an administrative assistant, but decided that really wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. And so I ended up leaving school and going to work. I worked in retail, and I worked in insurance, and then I worked in the audiovisual, and then I moved to Des Moines, where I worked at Meredith Berta, but I also went back to school, and Meredith Berta paid for my education, and I got a degree. I got a Bachelor of Science degree in marketing, which that was really what I wanted to do, was to be in marketing. And so I'm using that degree now. I don't use it as much because I'm more designing and manufacturing than I am actually marketing.
But having that background is huge for any business.
Yes. Yep.
So I think that's encouraging for a lot of moms to hear right now, because a lot of us don't have business degrees. Maybe we didn't finish school. Maybe we, had a totally different background. I mean, my background's in teaching, so a lot of how I approach my online business is teaching.
Right.
But I mean, from whatever background we moms are coming from, it's encouraging to know that how we start doesn't necessarily dictate how we end.
Right.
That's really cool.
Right. Yep.
So let's see, where were we in your story? So you'd done sales, you had done insurance and audiovisual and
right, hotel sale. I've worked in the hotel sales, and that's where I really learned that sales was what I needed to be in, because I was like a barracuda. That's what my boss used to always call me, was like a barracuda, because I booked tour groups into the hotel, and I had almost every night completely sold out, and I never took no for an answer. I never left a travel agency without at least having one tour on the books. And I'm kind of still like that today. I don't take no for an answer.
Must conquer. Yes. My mom has always said that the Stufflebaum credo is anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So I mean, there is no quit.
I believe that. I kind of believe that.
Yeah. That's been me too. It's where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes.
I do not accept that we can't make this work. I mean, even with the issues we were having today, I
wasn't ready to give up.
Yep. Where's the wheel, there's a way. That's me.
Right.
Just keep charging forward.
Yeah, we just keep charging forward. So yeah. Yep.
Very cool. So, sorry, was there more to the story?
Well, I mean, I did work in manufacturing, and that's kind of how I got into the manufacturing of my own apparel.
So what kind of manufacturing were you in at that point?
I moved to Des Moines, and I worked for Meredith Berta. And how I got the job was I worked for Kelly Services, which Kelly Services is a temporary job placement company. They actually will train you. So if you don't have the skills and you're looking for a job, they'll actually help you find the job. And so I worked for Kelly Services, and they placed me as the administrative assistant to the vice president of manufacturing for Meredith Berta. So they hired me within 3 months, and I worked out in the traffic department, where I learned how that I had to actually schedule the trucks to come in to take the magazines to the wholesalers who delivered the magazines to the retailers. So I'm learning that it goes from manufacturing to a wholesaler to a retailer.
That works behind the scenes, making product available
and
for the mass.
I did not know at the time that that's what I was learning, but that's what I was doing. So then I worked in the purchasing department for a little bit. There was a coworker that was on maternity leave, so I learned some things about purchasing, and what a purchase order was and what it was used for. And so then that also helped me land the job of customer service representative. And I started out as the assistant to the customer service representative for Better Homes and Gardens, which is a big magazine. And so then I got my own magazine. I got Traditional Homes as my own magazine. And what I did as a customer service representative is I made sure that the information from the publisher was filtered out into the printing plant, and that the magazine was published the way that the publisher wanted it printed and delivered. So I had to know every aspect of manufacturing in order to do my job. So that's kind of how I learned about all the manufacturing and the ins and outs, where it starts, the creative side, the design side, the manufacturing side, the shipping side, the customer service side.
And you've got all of those pieces going on right now. So
right.
you really were able to take
right.
something from every job you had and
yes.
put it all together.
Yes.
Now that you've got this 2020 vision of your history, and create this new business. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk to us about your business now. How did it start, and how did that
go? It started in 2009. Mm-hmm. I decided to start my own business because I was going to become a single mom. And I knew that I had to do something to take care of my child, because I had a child with some very special needs. And I knew that I could not work for another company because I could not give them 100% of the 8 hours that I was working for them, or the 40 hours a week that I was working for them. I knew I could not give them 100%. I knew that I had to be available for my child and for the school too, because it's very important for parents to be involved in any aspect of their child's education, whether it be preschool all the way up to high school.
Agreed.
And so
hard for all moms. I mean,
yes,
about going back to work and deciding, can I work for somebody else, or do I need to be at home so I can be available?
Right.
But I still need to make money, but how do I do it? And
how do I do that? Right.
Full balancing it.
So I started my own company, but how I kind of came about to start my own company was when I lived in Atlanta. I worked for the YMCA as a salesperson, so I got the exercise part of it, and I also worked with a mom and a daughter who started a company called IS Couture, and that was Diane and Sandy Yarrows, and they kind of took me under their wing, and they taught me about design, about construction, and about sales, and about how to run a company. And when I moved from Atlanta to Wisconsin, they gave me the tools that I needed.
Yeah, that empowering moms thing.
Yep. It really, yeah. And they started their company together because I believe that they had an event in their family that made them realize that their relationship to each other was very important and that they wanted to work with each other. And Sandy is an amazing designer. And she helps me a little bit now because I don't have anybody here in Florida to help me. I still have somebody up in Wisconsin who has the shop up there, because I do have 2 retailers that I design specialty dancewear for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, talking about, you started your business by yourself in Wisconsin, but now you're in Florida, and it's not like you had to start a whole new business. You didn't have to go look for a new job. So the nice part about having your own business, whether it's doing products or doing something online, is that it's portable.
Yes.
If your family has to move, or you need to move for some health reason or whatever, you can just pick it up and take it with you.
Right. Because you can ship. Well, you can ship from anywhere. You can market from anywhere. And whatever product it is that you decide to sell or to create, you have the avenues to promote it. Yeah. Because they've got, I started out on eBay. eBay was the easiest place for me to start. But now I actually like Etsy better. Etsy is more for the seller. eBay is more for the buyer. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So I actually like Etsy better, but I have more sales on eBay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but because I have more products on eBay. Because I started on eBay and I just kept putting more products on and more products on, because I sell shorts and I was doing gymnastic leotards. I had a mom who contacted me through eBay, and she helped me for a while. And she helped me design some really nice leotards. But so I started designing wrestling singlets, And wrestling singlets are actually my #1 seller.
Just so funny. You don't think about wrestling being a big thing, but if it's not a, huge thing worldwide or, even in our country,
right,
but you're the one who does it.
Right.
Everybody who does it, even if it's, 20,000 people total, they're all coming to you.
Right. Right. Well, and I have a lot of teams. This year, I probably had the most teams contact me, which really helped me tremendously because in my move from Wisconsin down to here, I kind of lost a lot of sales. And I didn't have as much of a workforce either down here to help me because the girl that worked with me, she works up in Wisconsin. And she and I had a nice working relationship. And so I did have another lady that worked with me too, but she has her own business now too. So
You're multiplying. You're sending out lots of new businesses into the world.
Yeah. I don't think I was necessarily the reason why she started her business, but because she had her business before, but I think it helped encourage her to venture out and do her own thing because now she has her own space. And she's just growing, and she's so talented. I mean, she's my Ethel in life. Yeah. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me flip back to my notes here and just make sure, because we just keep talking, and we could have a lot of fun with this. But I want to make sure we.
I like this so much better.
It's a lot more fun than just writing out answers to an interview.
I didn't like that.
So for those of you watching, there will be a post coming, and then this video will be embedded in the post. But I had asked Annie to send me answers to the questions ahead of time just to help her think through things for the interview. And I can imagine just going, why?
Oh, no, do I have to do this?
Yeah, I forget that I may be a writer, but not everybody is.
No.
So that's why we do the lives as well.
However, I do like writing. I was going to write a book, but that never happened.
That sounds like a story for another time.
I know.
Because I do want to hear about this. Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because we've talked a little bit about a few of the other questions. But one of the things that work-at-home moms tend to run into is, you go to a social event or hanging out with family, and they say, "So what do you do?" It's like the concept of working from home just isn't as mainstream as we probably would like it to be yet. Right. So people just, if we don't have a regular job, if we don't go to an office every day, they don't know what to do with us. So when you were first getting started and having to answer that question, how did you do that? What did you say?
I design and manufacture exercise apparel for both men and women.
So really treating it, this is your job.
This is my job.
This is what I do.
Yes.
And being able to keep that short and sweet. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're in a product business, a product-based business, that may be a little bit easier. I know in blogging and in the information businesses, it's a lot harder to bring that down into a concise statement. So it's nice that you have that very clear-cut mission of, this is what I do.
Yes.
And, you may ask me to do something else, but this is what I do.
Right. Well, I also design other things too, like Disney running outfits. Mm-hmm. I do a Snow White, Ariel, Belle. So, I mean, it has to do with exercise, but I also do costumes.
That's so cool.
And I also do my own apparel. Like I have a dress line that I do.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, you have one of my dresses.
I do. I love that dress.
Yes, you do. I made you one. And I have a little something that I'm going to send you and see too.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I do mother-daughter yoga wear too.
Oh, how funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
Minnie has just now gotten into yoga. We discovered Cosmic Kids Yoga on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see
Moana
it.
and Frozen. Yeah, she's all about it.
Can you see it? I have it on the mannequins here. Can you see it?
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's that. And then this green dress over here is the dress that my mother made.
Oh.
Yeah, and she looked just like Jackie Onassis when she had it on. I mean, she was beautiful. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch into the lessons you've learned over the years and what kind of lessons you would want to pass on to younger entrepreneurs who are just getting started and really trying to figure out, how do we do this? Well, so what would be the biggest lesson you've learned about yourself and your work over the years?
Well, I have learned that I can do anything I put my mind to.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way, right? And, it has given me such great self-esteem to be able to help somebody through my creations. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who it is. If they send me a picture of them and they have a smile on their face, like these little wrestlers, they got first place and they're all excited because they got first place, and I always say, if you look good, you're going to perform good. There
you go. Dress the part.
Yep. Yeah. So that is one of the things, and I know that I am clothed with strength and dignity, and I laugh at fear of the future.
You got it.
Yep.
Got it.
And I faced a lot of fear. I've done a lot of things on my own. Just in my life, I've had a lot of fear in my life, but I have overcome it, and I'm successful today. There were many times that I didn't know if I'd be able to have food on my table or to pay my rent, but I know that God always provides for me, no matter what.
And that's huge.
Provides for me. Yep.
That's huge. There are so many things that we could be afraid of with starting a business, with raising a family. There's always something we can be afraid of. And there's just being able to do it scared. And say, you know what, I'm terrified of this. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to keep pushing forward and try it anyway.
Right.
That's huge.
I moved all the way down here from Wisconsin by myself, me and my dog. We moved down here, and I thought, what am I doing? I guess I'm just a really big risk taker. Starting my own business. I started my business during the recession in 2009. In 2009, when businesses were closing, people were losing their jobs. In fact, I employed somebody who, her husband had lost his job, and I employed her and gave her a job so that her family could have food. And, many times I would pay my employees before I'd pay myself, just because I knew they probably needed it more than me. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Yes. So true. So Lynn Clausen is popping in, and she's had a couple of things that I didn't see until just now. But she's encouraging you and saying, love it. Great statement. Making it happen. And then this one that I've got up on the screen is, I hear you and can relate. Fear always tries to derail us.
Yes. Yep.
So true. So true.
Yep.
Thank you, Lynn, for hopping in.
Yep. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah.
So huge lessons about just facing fear and doing it scared. Mm-hmm. So let's flip that and say, what would be the one thing you would have done differently if you had known better at the time?
Do I have to answer that one?
Well, give us something. You don't have to give us everything.
I probably would have learned more accounting. because I don't know enough about accounting or about taxes or anything. You know, I have a good tax man that handles my taxes, and I was doing my own books for a very long time, and then I got big, and so, or bigger, so I gave my bookkeeping away. But now I'm gonna bring it back, and I'm gonna learn how to do it myself, because there's QuickBooks, and I have QuickBooks, and I might as well learn it myself. You know, so. Yeah. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I wish that I had done differently, and maybe studied more in school.
Take those accounting classes, people. They're not fun, but take them anyway.
I know. If you do want to start your own business, make sure that you know everything. Well, I did take accounting and to get my marketing degree, but
this is true.
I don't remember. I don't remember anything about it. I remember I struggled terribly in it, though. I remember crying over the book.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't do numbers. I do words. I do lots of words.
Yeah, words. I do words. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. And so the encouragement with that is, while you wish you would have known more accounting, you were still able to start and grow a successful business to the point that you could hire somebody to do your book.
Yes.
So we don't do numbers. We can find somebody who can.
Yes.
If we can just get it going enough. If we know this much,
yes.
we can get it going forward enough to find people who are really good at it.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm going to switch over. So thinking about how we all have, most of the Scattered Women crew has a lot of young kids at home still. And now you're at this empty nest point where you can look back and say, okay, I have raised these children. They are out in the world doing their thing.
Yes.
So what lessons do you really hope that they've learned from you about work and about running a business?
Well, mainly that if they work hard, they can do anything. And that to find something that makes them happy. I do believe that there are many things in life that create wealth. One being wealth of knowledge, and another one being wealth of spirit. And I think if you have those two, then you'll have the wealth of money. But money isn't everything. Money doesn't, money isn't everything. I think if you have those two things in life, I think you'll get the money with it. And it's very, very hard. Mm-hmm. It is very hard. And I'm gonna say this to you also. Your dad worked very hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, to get to where he was as a doctor. Mm-hmm. He didn't have any money, going to school. I remember him eating tuna fish and having rubber bands around his ears. He's probably going to kill me for saying this, but I'm sorry.
Sorry, Daddy, we love you.
I know.
It's too funny. But I mean, yes, we've got this mentality where, especially as moms, I mean, we worry about everything, but we've got to pay the bills. I need money. Yes. I need this. And it's so hard to break out of that. Mm-hmm. To just focus on the gaining knowledge and gaining perspective and gaining. Right. That's something that I'm working through right now, because God has very clearly said, I don't want you trying to make money with your blog. I don't want you worrying about it. I don't want you thinking about it. And all I can think is the whole reason I started this blog was so that I could make some money to help us. That was the whole point. And so being asked to step back from that is like, okay,
well, now don't give up with that, because there's always a reason for something.
Oh, so, absolutely. Yeah. And I know that I'm supposed to keep putting my energy and my time into this. And it's a lot of why I'm doing these interviews now, is to help other businesses really gain some exposure and get their name and their face out there, which I love doing. I love helping other women move forward and do big things in their businesses. So
right. And that's kind of the way I am too, is I want to foster as many people as I can and empower women to do their best,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Lynn says, so true. We are rich in different ways than money. Having passion in what you do makes a big difference. Everything else the Lord will put in place for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preach, sister. That's what we're going for.
Yeah. And I learned a lot of this from a gentleman who was one of my first customers, and he became my best friend. And he has taught me so much about being positive and pushing through everything and not letting the hard times get to me. And he is successful in so many ways. And you wouldn't look at him and say, oh, he's a rich man. But I see him as one of the richest men because he has spirit. He has knowledge. He has a lot of knowledge. And he has a good faith too. So
I think that perspective is important for us to keep, that we have awesome lives. Even if our businesses flop, even if we have to, start over and try again.
Right.
We're learning along the way and we're moving forward and gaining good things from it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Let me check my notes one more time. So as we're wrapping all of this up, if you are talking to a bunch of women who are wanting to start a business, what would be the one business tip you would give them as they're getting ready to dive in?
Wow. Just one?
Others in there if you want to, but I'm only asking for one.
Just one. Okay, let me think here. Probably the biggest thing is to look at how other companies are run and see what makes you happy. Because doing something that makes you happy will be so much better. And like my son gave me that picture that I have in my shop that says happiness is liking what you do. So in anything that you do, no matter what it is that you decide to do in life, make sure that it makes you happy. It makes you feel complete, because you will be such a better wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend, if you're actually doing things that make you happy.
Because if mama ain't happy,
nobody's happy.
Ain't nobody happy.
Right.
I mean, happiness is not everything in life, but
right.
Man, it helps.
Right.
To at least enjoy what we're doing. I mean, we can have joy in the hard times, but when everything about your work is just miserable, it's really hard to push through that.
It is.
Yep.
It is. There are times when I've wanted to give up, but I've had somebody say to me, "No, you can't give up. Keep going. You've got this.
Yep. And finding that tribe of people behind you who will push you.
Right.
Say, you can do this. You've got it. Go.
Right.
And really encouraging. That's huge, especially as you're starting a business.
Yep. Yep. And I've had wonderful friends who have been behind me too. Like Sandy has been there when I was in Wisconsin, helping me to trudge through so much. And Janelle, she was always there to help me. She's my Ethel in life that would help me get out of jams or help me get into them. But get me out of them. So.
Too funny. So in the questions that or the answers you had sent back to me about the interview questions, you had mentioned that you watch a lot of Shark Tank to tell you how other people handle their businesses.
Yes.
And if you like to read, you probably would have read more books about how to run a business.
Yes.
And there are lots of books like that, but I wanted to tell you and also tell anybody watching that there is a podcast called what's it called? Brilliant Business Moms.
Oh.
And it's a mom doing, I think she started off with a blog, but most of what she's doing now is podcasts to encourage women in running their business. And she talks about everything from Facebook ads to Instagram and a lot of the online business stuff. But she will interview Etsy sellers and authors and all sorts of moms about how they run their businesses. And that one has been super fun to listen to.
Wow.
How people run their businesses.
Yeah, I would love to see that because
I'll try to remember to put a link in there.
I search Etsy stores and I search websites and I look to see how people are doing certain things, and it's like, which one do I want to emulate?
Right.
To be like, even though I like to be original and be my own person, I still like to somewhat look like somebody else, you know.
Well, I mean, take those great ideas and tweak them to make them our own.
Right.
You know, what is it? The highest form of flattery is stealing somebody else's idea.
Yes, exactly right. And I do that all the time. You know, I'll find a dress that I like and I'll be like, you know, Sandy and I are designing some amazing dresses now, but we're copying somebody else.
We're going to take this idea and make it our own. We're just going to add something a little different.
Change it a little bit. That's what I do with some of my retail people that I'm working with, is that they'll send me a picture or something. They'll say, I really like this. I want it in this fabric. And I'll be like, well, I'm going to have to change it a little bit because I don't want it to be just like that one.
Right. We got to make it a little bit different.
Yeah, and it makes them unique too, so that they're not just like the other person. So
absolutely. So as we're wrapping this up, Annie, do you have any parting thoughts for us? Any other little tidbits of wisdom that you would like to share with the world?
Well, I don't know. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my journey. And if I can help anybody or empower any woman to take this on for themselves, there's so many avenues out there now that women can do Etsy, Pinterest, Instagram, you know, all the things that I wish I had more time for. There's just so many avenues out there to actually promote a business now.
Definitely.
And like I said, just find something that makes you happy.
There you go. Words from one who has been there, folks. Find something that makes you happy.
Yeah. Why would you do something that doesn't make you happy? You know, I mean, I have my days when I'm not happy because I can't get something right for a customer. In fact, I've been working on a bodysuit for a customer of mine. Well, she's a good friend of mine who has skin cancer. And I actually have fabric that is SPF 50. And I'm making her a bodysuit, but I wanted to make her a swimsuit on top of it. So it made it look like she had a swimsuit on while she was at the pool. And I just cannot get it. I can't finish it. I can't get it designed right.
Take a break, walk away.
Yeah, I do that a lot. So I'll get it eventually. I'll get it. So
very cool. Well, by way of having a finishing thing here, I want to give people a way to reach out to you. Sure. If they have questions on how to start a business or about your business in particular, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
They can go to my website, LBWear, and it's Lucky. It says Lucky Beast is LB Wear, WEAR.com. That's my website.
Screen here.
And they can contact me through there, or my Facebook page too, which is LBWear also. And then I also have Etsy, and that's LBWear, and eBay, and that's LBWear. I have an Instagram, but unfortunately, since I got a new phone, I can't get into my Instagram accounts. So I'm not really using them as much.
Instagram is the bane of my existence right now.
I can't get into it. So anyway, so that's not a good way to get a hold of me. But you can look at some of the things I've done. But it's all on my Facebook page too.
Very cool. I'll put your Facebook link up there as well, So they've got your website, they've got that, and they've talked through your handles on other platforms.
Okay.
So they can find you on which one works for them. Sorry, I forgot to bring water in today.
Uh-oh.
I'm like hacking up along here. So very cool. All right. Well, if anybody has further questions for you, they've got your information. Thank you so much, Annie, for
thank you for having me
today.
It's so wonderful to see you too.
I know, we never get to see each other, so this is fun.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we are going to wrap this up here. And again, if you have more questions or anything that you would like to share with your experiences, if you started a business or you're interested in starting a business, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So keep the conversation going in the comments, and we will talk to y'all next time.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.